So I have been still continuing with a lot of sketchbooking and painting and just playing with ideas, and I think it's a good time and process to film. But anyway, I really wanted to wear this. This makes me so happy. Don't know why. It has eyes. The little thingies. Even the eaten apple has little eyes. Let's talk about my sketchbook a bit more. So, I did mention in the last video that I had this in my head. It was like, oh, should I make a picture book? And I just couldn't stop thinking about it. Let me tell you how deep it goes. First of all, I went and got this. It's just saying writing picture books. Haven't read it much, but I did a lot of research about sizing and pages, and all I do is really just plan. I like planning stage. I like learning stage, where I'm learning a lot. I sometimes okay with execution stage of production, like visuals or whatever, but the closer it gets to like formalizing it, then that's where it gets stuck the most of the time. But the point is, I went to the point where I made a rough book for this. I also written a draft, so I made a little thing to understand how we look. This is way more panels I put in because I didn't know how many I still want, so I put much more pages, but I just wanted to understand what is the typical standard of picture book. And so there is like, I had to learn quite a few things. And one of the things that I learned is that you can have two ways of layout here. And one is when it's like the end page is included into the count, or end pages are separate. And that muddles everything, because if you need to plan the structure of a story and pages of a story for exact story, then this really muddles the count. But I would imagine the first one would be end pages, then the title, and then the story starts, because there was also half pages and I just can't understand half pages. So in my head I don't really understand half pages, because in some books it is the title, so you have title twice, which just didn't make sense to me. But then I looked at that, it's very similar in Hilda's books, which are graphic novels, obviously not the picture books, but because we have double stories, so you have a title and we had a second title, and but because this is based out of two stories combined into a book, so this is what really muddled me at the same time. So I needed to make this. So this is like a dummy, and another thing is the dummy. So draft is just the words on a page and sentences of what you want to put in. You probably can make it more descriptive if you want to put those for yourself. I just put each of the pages had to have something I like in it, in the drawing. So I would just be like, I'm going all out about this particular detail. So the story would have been very simple. I had like a little start of an adventure here, and I thought the text will be here. So this is how I did just a draft of whatever composition, and then this was just a filler page for me, but it's entered a little bit later because I did had a different sketch. But this is like a foraging part of the forest, so I was like, I kind of want to do a foraging part. I grew up foraging. When I was a kid, we would forage all the time, so really wanted to do this, including foraging. And then this was like starting to look like a familiar part of the forest. So we have a little bit like a close-up. And not sure why this is here, because this would have been like an uncomfortable picnic kind of scene to me. But then, okay, then this is where something should be happening. And this is where I'm getting stuck. I'm kind of okay with it because I want to do skeleton trees. And this is what I marked, like a rib cage tree, you know. So this is kind of okay. And then I'm lost. And the problem with me being lost is that I was also very lost in the story when I tried to make a draft. I kept changing the ending. I kept feeling like it's not something I wanted to do. Because there are several messaging that I would feel really good at writing. But I don't like being didactic. And one of the big messagings for me were that I find in adults lacking. So I thought I should put something in a children's book and some kind of event about, I want to say speaking up, but that would go badly for children in a way. So assertive communication, I'm really liking it in some adults too. So I really wanted to put like a assertive communication thing, or just speak your truth. But I didn't quite find it in how I can make it in a way where you know this is the main idea. And that's why I was starting after sort of thinking the inciting incident or conflict, was struggling to actually get on with it. So I have exactly the same panels here as well. Oh gosh, you might see some text as well. But basically this is the beginning one. And this is the one that was with a close-up, maybe holding the, like, it's like a puppy thing. I don't know how to say. This is the picnicky part. And I don't know what this is because that kept changing. And this is also kept changing. So I kept just drawing panels, trying to come up to something, with something. And I kept thinking of different characters, or should I include animal encounter, you know. And it kept changing and changing for me. Also sketched the character. And I really like this fat, doggy, foxy thing, because originally when I sketched it, somehow I thought about corgis and their short little feet, but I gave it a long tail, which is why it feels more like a white fox in a way. And I started with the first one. So I don't know if you can tell that the first one is just like a, I don't know if you can tell, it's a river with a log and just jumping over the like rocks into the other side. So it's sort of exploration, just like this is what we like to do, exploring the forest, right? And I've drawn it, but I don't like fully like it. I don't know. If I like the bottom, I don't know why. It does not look as great on camera, I think, as it looks to me. But I really like the apple green that I mentioned last time. I did this for the other drawing with the fox and the bear. And I kind of liked, you know, I like that sort of like line arty style. And I really wanted to do more braver lines of everything. I'm okay with the river. And I really wanted to do these kind of overlappy circles. So it's really just like simple things to make it more graphical. And I sort of like it down to the river. And I really like the color of the log. So when I was thinking about what I like in this frame, when I was sketching it, like I say, every frame has something I like about forests or something like that. I wanted to do more logs, fallen logs. They are really fun. But I only did one here. The color was very nice, and I don't know if you can see, but it has like a little bit of blue shading to it. I feel like you probably can't, but I really kind of liked adding that blue shading to it. That's what I did. And you see the big fat tail. I also want to moan a bit about my supplies. Let me moan a bit. I was just doing this part, the grass, and I'm just gonna moan about it because we found a lot of different pencils just lying around is what we're using. So there's such a mix of different brands and so on. So when I was drawing these details, I was basically keep accidentally grabbing this, because if you look at them, right, it looks like it's a mid green, dark green, light green, mid green. So keep accidentally touching this, but actually this one is mid green, because this one is actually mint green. You can't really see, like, it's such a big difference between the color on the pencil and the actual color on the tip. So that's what's very confusing, but interestingly, I have no idea how I have it, but it is from like Drug Mart. I was just preparing for the next drawing. Look at this. How cute is this washi tape? Oh my god, you can't even see it very well, but it's cats and dogs. And oh my gosh, I love it. It does have branding inside too, which is so great. It says Hitotoki, but the only reason I decided to use it, first of all, it was still packed, but the only reason I decided to use it is the border. I want to keep it for the border, see if I can paint and get that nice circle border. Then the next was to keep a deeper border. This was meant to keep a deeper border, which is actually the tape from Paris, I believe. When we traveled, I just got this. And this is a cheap tape to just keep it on the table. All of them gonna go away and peel off once I finish, but I'm kind of like, it just feels so precious. So I started shifting gears. First of all, went onto the second panel to draw a foraging scene, and second of all, forgot about storybook idea and decided to move on to thinking, can I actually just make a sharp drop? I spent most of the week or remaining time researching what do I need for a sharp drop, and also the shipping. The shipping still gives me a headache, but I went to the point where I actually got the envelopes, so I think it is not just the planning process. I think I might be following it through. Really strange to restart doing art and being an artist right from the zero. Like, I haven't saved up any art I made before or anything, so like I'm literally starting at nothing, and I also didn't maintain my audience or anything like that, so really starting where everything is a little bit of leveled at zero and starting from beginning. So I was feeling quite low, and I was really just restarting with a sketchbook and doing art, and I think every time I hit this moment where I'm like not loving my life, in a sense of like not loving the corporate I'm in and so on, as it happens to everyone really, I moved towards art quite sharply. And at the moment I started drawing these panels on like A3 size and finished the first one. Didn't know what to do with it or how to like make it a bit more quirky. Wanted to write some words on it, because originally when I was thinking about storybook I was like, there's gonna be a text panel anyway, but I ended up doing it more like I think in my head it's a card. So the biggest problem was I don't have a great scanner, so especially that could scan a free size pictures. So I used so much washi tape to try it to make it like more bound to the table, which is counterproductive because I had washi tape and I peeled it off, then I had to washi tape it again to try smoothing it out. But I really think that it was very obvious that the page has rippled, and you definitely have certain shadows on the surface. So at the moment I'm trying to do the second one, but I decided to draw it by hand, try to ink it by hand, and then take a picture, scan it in, and try to color it by apps, because I know a lot of artists who follow this workflow. Yes, so talking about the last one that I just finished, I really didn't know what to write, so I wrote Weird, because I think I was really thinking about, like, you know, first of all, like expectations of everyone having of you or each other, pre-selected paths, and also, for example, inherited family debts, that feels really what is not right. So at the same time, I'm gonna stray from usual opinion to not stray off the path, and sort of use it as, yes, do stray off the path, go wander, you know, go be wild, sort of messaging, because I think that a lot of pre-made plans and expectations are not always right. So I actually tried to do this painting in 2 versions, and one of the versions was I colored digitally and used digital skills, added like bloom. I think working like with Unity actually taught me about like processing in some ways, so I think like adding a little bit of more effects is one thing I can definitely learn to bring in. And the second thing I wanted to say, I went back, as you can see, I'm also manually coloring it, but I wasn't really trying hard to like nicely manually color it. And the point was because I just wanted to see if the tape effect gonna hold. But then I kind of got into it and I was like, oh, actually, like this pink and so on is very interesting colors. Right, so I did finish coloring, coloring this one with the nice edges, and I really like the color more than the digital one. I really like the color of this purple pink, also probably very light pink, and also like this green. So really like this part, and I'm trying to remake something with the color, because as I say, this was more of a draft. Do some other drawings that basically utilize more the limited palette of this. So have like a little tulip, very stylized, but I kind of like this baby tulip idea. I'm trying to make it super pink and use the similar green and the tuned yellow for the little flowers. And for this one, I couldn't really come with this crazy pink reasoning of what to draw. Kind of like it. At this point, I was thinking raccoons became not so cute after we had them, but now I'm feeling like I'm ready to draw them again. It was quite interesting that there was a moment when suddenly it hit me that I don't like it anymore. I was very excited to do this sort of these two drawings, but then like somehow, similarly like when my medication sometimes work and like your appetite is gone or something, it just felt like no, like it's a completely stopped to be interesting for me. So the tulip one haven't really survived the process. I did finish the raccoon one, or I tried to like finish it as well, but somehow I didn't like it. I liked it when I did it manually, so I still like this version. But then I, took a picture of it and tried to like correct it. I don't quite like it. I like the idea of them gathering around and sleeping chicken on the roof. I like the idea of it. I don't like the finished product. We'll see what happens. But yeah, so to wrap up, I'm looking at these pieces at the finish. I'm looking at the sticker set potentially. I have no idea how it's gonna turn out yet, but like the flowers, tulip and the buttercup. I'm looking into. I made this postcard. Then I was still thinking about picture book. I made this sort of like postcardy part where I put words pausa weird, but actually I think what I should have put was pausa overrated, because that's so much more close to true. But overrated is very long word to go on a car, but that's definitely what it means. And then I did one that I tested this on coloring on Procreate instead of coloring live, about foraging. So yeah, and both of them had this white puppy fox creature, so I'm really thinking that that should be my logo brand name. Yeah, all these unfinished and non-existent products, by the way we're talking about it, because I'm producing in a way with thinking maybe these will be the products, but I don't know if I'm gonna go forward with it. I try to divide them because my head is kind of spinning of how much is needed right now if I did wanted to start selling them. So I started dividing them in my head, being as like merchandise and creating art for merchandise and creating art for branding. Yeah, so we're like long way away still. Okay, so all in all, this is about the summary really of what happened in the past few weeks, and I'm gonna keep building on art. You can join my journey and support me please, because I get discouraged very easily, and I would really like to see myself going through with a plan, not be stuck just in the planning stage. So at the moment I'm just trying to produce as much art and then start actually sending it out to manufacturers. Yes, I'm doing it in sections like that. We'll see what happens. But yeah, see you next time. Bye bye.